going on, guys? We'll be using PAA's awesome sauce today. We have some extended growth here, and we've actually lessened our growth up here, so good day. We will be using the cube. Lingophile and I were talking about this. This is their PAA's original cube. It is the mentholated version. But yeah, like all of their packaging is just so busy, you know? It's like exhausting just looking at their packaging. But they make great products, so you know, it is what it is. This will be a straight razor shave. I'm sure you'll see the actual razor itself in the thumbnail. Unless I decide to do something different with the thumbnail, but it will be the Tuckmar or Tuckmar, however you want to say it. It's a German, and the baby's crying, but my wife's feeding him, or should be. So today we'll be telling some stories. Well, really, I honestly think this one story is going to take up all the time. Absolute true story. It happened before COVID-19. It was before Christmas of last year too. So I don't know, maybe like October, September, October of last year is when this happened. Oh, I bowl lathered up PAA, by the way. Just threw some in here with my little spoon, my little scooper, and yeah, bowl lathered. So we're good there. I mean, this stuff is for a vegan soap. It's up there, man. It's very nice. All right, so let's, I guess, get on with the story, because I could tell it probably in 2 minutes, but if I don't give you like the full backstory and everything, it's not gonna make sense. So, all right, so my company has a lot of clients, and one of our clients is we're an IT firm. We do servers, manage servers, install servers, database, that type of thing, SQL. Work with a lot of software vendors as well, and PC installs, and printers, and VoIP phones, networking, everything, right? So, okay, this specific client, all we do for them is manage their PCs, which isn't necessarily completely relevant to the story, but at least now you know kind of like the backstory of what we do for them. We manage their PCs. So, one morning, 6:30 a.m., my boss calls, and I don't get, clients don't have my personal cell. I don't get calls on my cell unless it's emergency that early. So 6 a.m., get the call. Okay, what's going on? He says this specific client has been hacked, and we need to be over there ASAP. So I'm like, okay. Now, this client is in Port Sulphur. Port Sulphur is 2.5 hours away. So I'm like, okay, I'll get over there. So I get there, everything's complete, like, and real quick, like, we have VMs there, so like, even though they're hacked, it doesn't really affect anything, because all we do is revert back to the day before or whatever as far as the operating system goes. So like, nothing really gets affected. And we have them subnetted out from the network, each PC, so like, hackers can't really do anything. Let's see how this blade works. This is, oh yeah, he's crying good. This is my Nanowa. My Nanowatt 12K razor. Oh yeah, it's knocking that out. Tons of growth, obviously. I think it was like 3 or 4 days. Anyways, so I get over there and I meet with the owner, and it was one of the employee PCs, and she says, you know, I spoke with her, meaning the employee, and she said somebody from your company called her and logged into the computer and did whatever they did. Now, I'm like, okay, I don't know about that, but you know, I'm not gonna tell that to her face. So, I'm like, all right, well, you know, who was it from our company, so I can, you know, so we can follow up and see exactly what's going on here. And she was like, well, I'm not 100% sure. I have to call the employee and get her to tell me again. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So she gets the employee on the line, and she's like, hey, you said, because when this happened to the employee's computer, the owner immediately just said, you know, don't come in, stay at home until we figure out exactly what happened on your computer. Because they weren't sure if they were going to have to fire her or what. So she calls her, and she says, the employee says, yeah, it was someone from that company that called and wanted to get on my computer. I let them on. I walked away to make coffee. And when I came back, everything was kind of like locked down. Like, she has the employee on speaker, and I'm like, okay. Like, I'm really intrigued at this. So, I'm like, okay, so who did they say they were? And for video purposes, we'll say John. She says, yeah, John. John called and said he needed to get in. And I let him in, and I went to go make coffee. And when I came back, I couldn't do anything on the computer. And I'm like, okay. Something doesn't sound right. Because John was an employee of ours. So I don't call John immediately. I call my boss. And I let him know what's going on and what the employee's saying, and you know. And he says, okay, well, we could solve this easily. Let's call John. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So I leave where I am with the client, and I go into a conference room that we have access to, and I sit down on my phone, and I conference in John with myself and the boss. And I don't do any of the talking because this isn't my place at this point. I mean, I'm over John, but my boss is over me, so I just let my boss handle it. And he says, you know, Thomas is at so-and-so's client. You know, this employee, whatever name, is saying that you called, wanted to get on her computer, and now everything is like locked down. It's like, what? She said that? which like isn't something you want to like. It's like he said it just like that. Like, what? She said that? And we're like, yeah, that's what she said. He said, no, absolutely not. Like, no, I had no reason to do that. Okay. So we go back to where the owner is. And by this point in time, she's called the employee. And the employee's on her way. So she's like, all right, Thomas, we're just going to sit here and wait. I have the employee on her way. Once she gets here, we'll kind of go over everything. Then we'll get to the bottom of it. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So her employee gets there. Now, something that the employees don't know about is that as far as the phone calls go, we have everything monitored. That's a service we offer, and this specific client does use that service. So every call that comes in, every call that goes out, I think it's the first 2 minutes of the calls are recorded, and we can play them back. So, and the employer and I, the client, the owner, and I both spoke about that previous to the employee coming in. We were like, let's see what she says, and depending on what she says, then we'll be like, all right, well, we have the recording. Let's go listen to it together. Kind of like a catch-ya, like a gotcha or a catch-ya 22, whatever. Catch 22. So I was like, all right, that's fine. So the employee gets there, and the owner asks her again. So you're sure John from my company, she named my company, you're sure he called? She's like, yeah, 100%. Okay. He says he doesn't. He says he didn't call. And you weren't talking to him. And so she's like, she's hesitant now. The employee's hesitant now. And so the owner says, well, she says, well, luckily we have recordings here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go and listen to the recording. Now, the employee at this point starts crying. I mean, this chick starts crying. And I'm like, uh-oh, it's about to get juicy, and I'm not in the middle of it. So she says, well, I thought it was him that called. I came in that morning, and this was like I had to go out there on a Monday. And she worked on the Friday before. And so the owner came back in on Monday morning and turned on all the PCs, or woke them up out of sleep mode and found that PC locked. Anyways, so she was like, I came in, or before I came in, and I was drunk on Friday. And lathers flying everywhere. And I had a call from John, from somebody that said they were John, and I figured, and I figured it was John from my company, and yada yada yada. So I let him on. I went to go make coffee, and when I came back, it was locked up, and I just used another PC for the entire day and didn't mention anything about this one. I guess because she was scared. So we're like, okay, so let's go listen to the recording. So we go listen to the recording, and somebody, sounded like somebody from India, or, you know, I don't know, something like that, called and did say his name was John. And, but it's like, okay, you know us. But she was drunk again, so. But this is a little, so that was like the whole story. That's like the whole thing, you know, where, but here's the kicker, kind of. So, remember how I said when we called John, he was like, she said that? Apparently. Now, keep in mind, John lives, I mean, not the same area as me, but he's not far. I'm 2.5 hours away from this place. He's probably a little closer, maybe 2 hours, 15 minutes. Apparently they were dating. Him and this chick. So, and that came from him. But it's like, man. What a shock that would be if you're dating someone and you think they throw you under the frickin' bus. But no, that wasn't the case. She really did get a call from John. She was drunk. Well, not our John, but yeah. So what's a pretty cool part of my job is when things like that happen, and they do happen because, I mean, and that's one reason that we do VMs, virtual machines, as opposed to physical, because we could just easily just roll them right back like we did there. And while, you know, they're down for an hour or two while we do that, they're not permanently down while we take the computer, reload, whatever. So anyways, what I did was, and what we typically do is we take a VHD, like, which is basically the image of that specific point in time when it's locked down, and I'll put that on a thumb drive or a CD or whatever, and I'll take that to our office and we'll try to decrypt it, and then we'll give it a name, and if we find that virus again or whatever happened, then we have a resolution to it without, you know, so. So yeah, that's probably one of the funnier times, or one of the funnier things that I've been a part of, as far as I honestly don't know. That company actually closed during the pandemic, so I don't know, or, you know, during COVID, whatever. So I don't know actually if like they fired that chick or not. I have no idea. See, I had to go to a different barber today. I must have nicked myself or something right there. And mainly just for the reason that I was not going to sit there and wait 45 minutes for my typical barber. Just not something I'm about. So yeah, I went to this other barber, which it's a barber shop. That's what she called it. It's a female, and she she owns a barber shop. They're not a beauty salon. Like, there's a bunch of signs in there saying we do not cut women's hair, and it's just her. So yeah, she does not cut women's hair. Just cuts guys' hair. And we'll just do a little cleanup pass right here. And, you know, went in there, got my hair cut. Now, I think I had a video, I'm pretty sure I had a video on this couple weeks ago where I was talking about my barber and the price and whatnot. Well, I got my hair cut from her, and it's okay. I mean, nothing. I really don't do anything fancy with my hair anyways. Like, I don't get a fade or anything crazy, so. Really nothing spectacular that they need to do for my hair. But when I went and, well, we finished and then I went to pay and she was like $12. And I was like, huh? Because my barber charges 20. She's like, yeah, I only charge $12 for guys. So I was like, okay, whatever. So how I typically pay is by card. I don't pay cash. Unless I'm like giving something for Christmas or something. But I'm like, you take card? Yeah, I take card. I asked her that before I went. And so she swiped the card. And what my normal barber does is he'll swipe the card and then he'll like give me the thing where I could sign it and put a tip. Well, for whatever reason, she didn't put the tip. Like, she just swiped the card and then she was like, okay, thank you. Here's your receipt. And this receipt was for like $12. And I'm like, you know, what's this? I want to like leave a tip. She's like, oh, well, we don't have too many people that leave tips here. And I'm thinking to myself, like, huh? Which was like, well, I'll catch you next time because I can't really do anything without ringing you up again. I was like, well, just ring up $12. Like, because my barber charges 20. I typically get 5. That's 25. 12 and 12 is 24. So she was like, wait, what? So yeah, absolutely. This is a good haircut. I'm fine with it. But yeah, $12 for a haircut. What? Really? I didn't even know they went that low. I mean, when I was a kid, yeah, they were that low. But like, as an adult, I've never paid less than probably 14, 15. So. It's a nice shave. I mean, you saw the growth I had previous to what I'm cleaning up now. So, as far as the edge on this, yeah, it's so-so. It's obviously doing the job. It's tugging a little, and I think I know why. And I know how to fix that because I've dealt with this before on this razor or on this finishing stone. And on this, on the stone that I finished this on, what I'll typically do is I will after I think it's completely done, what I'll do is I will go and still picking up a lot of hair. But like, I'm super smooth, so I don't understand. Yeah, I'll go and I'll get some soap. Now what I typically use for this is just Arco, like, because it's tallow and it's a little slicker. So I'll get some tallow on my stone and kind of like rub it, or Arco soap, and kind of like rub the stick on there. And then I'll go and do some more passes with the razor. I didn't do that this time with this specific stone, and I could definitely tell a difference. And I didn't do that on purpose to see if I could tell a difference if I use the soap or not. But I can tell a difference. So I'll never do that again where I'm not using the soap to finish it off. And I don't know if anybody else has issues like that with this, with the stone that I'm using. But it's a natural stone, so All natural stones are different. It could be the same exact stone, same exact quarry, but you know, it could definitely have different qualities. So, who knows? But overall, not too bad. What are we at? 25 minutes? Yeah, this is going to be a feature length video. But I had a lot of growth, and I wanted to make sure I got it off, so. Ooh, that menthol. You can definitely feel that menthol. Ooh. Still a little, I mean, there's not, it's smooth, but you could feel a little bit on my chin here. And it's just the denseness of my beard here. It's just, looking back and using cartridges for so long, and obviously DEs get eaten alive by my beard. Really, I think it's, if I, like when I had my goatee and like all of this was grown, especially in this area, and I didn't shave that, and I was just shaving cheeks and neck, I could use a DE several times, like 4 or 5 times. But when I'm shaving specifically this area here with a DE or with a razor or anything, it just eats up the frickin' edge, man. It just eats it alive. So, not much I could do about that. Let me see, this is way too slick. I'll just use this. One of my clients that I see weekly, I saw them today, and they've never really seen me with like more than a couple days growth. Like I had like 3 going on 4. They're like, "Whoa, T," they call me T. "Whoa, T, what's up with that growth, bro? You growing it out again?" And I was like, nah, I just haven't shaved. You know, it's crazy. No one other than my wife and I think my parents, as far as my life goes, know I have a shaving channel. I don't know. Just how I like to keep it, I don't know. It's just, you know, one of those things. Alright, that's a really good shave. Rewind it all the way to the beginning of the video and look at the growth I had. Comfortable shave too. That's something that's really good about the natural stones. No, I didn't hit my yeah. Something that's really nice about the natural stones is when done right, because when I first got my natural stones, I was not honing correctly on them. There's a learning curve from naturals to synthetics. But when I first got my my naturals, I wasn't honing correctly. But once I started, oh, I have something to tell you guys about theirs too, real quick. Well, once I started using my natural stones and everything, and got accustomed to them and started getting good edges with them, natural stones are so much better, and so much like better in the sense of maybe not as sharp. I mean, obviously they're sharp enough to freaking kill, 4 days of growth, no problem. But they're just more comfortable than a synthetic. Synthetic can get sharper, but it's like, you know, which one do you want? You want super sharp and aggressive that's just gonna rip through stuff, and like leave your skin feeling like you have 3rd-degree burns, or do you want something that's, you know, gonna take a full 3 passes, maybe 4. You're gonna get BBS, but then also you're gonna be like extremely comfortable with the edge, even the next day. Like you're not gonna have any what you call them, irritation or razor bumps. So I prefer the comfortable edge. PAA, awesome sauce as well. And I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the video. This is identical to, or I don't have it, I don't know if it's identical, but it's a duplicate of Proraso Green's aftershave, not Proraso Green's soap. Feels good. Feels really good. That's it. Oh yeah, we're looking good, feeling good, and smelling good. I think that's what Anthony Esposito said. Looking good, feeling good, smelling good. Oh, real quick, Lingophile pointed me in this direction, and I have 2 ordered. I think it's $6.99. It's either $6.99 or $7.99 for the Thayer's bottles. He'll tell you down below. But Thayer's, these big bottles, $6.99 or $7.99 on Amazon. So if you need them, pick them up. Anyways, God bless. See you next shave.